Legion of Superheroes is the newest DC animated film coming from Warner Bros. Home Entertainment that is continuing the new continuity of the Tomorrowverse. This film introduces us to a variety of new characters, including Cara, aka Supergirl. This film has an interesting story for sure, but it does have its faults, some great action and some great character interactions as expected, and some twists that may or may not surprise you. I'm Chainsaw Reacts. This is my review of Legion of Superheroes. I want to thank Warner Bros. Home Entertainment for sending me an early copy to review for the channel. That is a great cover, by the way. Love the cover. This film, in my personal opinion, had to accomplish a couple of things. Number one, this film had to introduce us to a Cara that we had to care about, that we had to connect with, and in my personal opinion, they definitely succeeded on that. I really cared for this version of Cara, and I liked the journey she went on and how she grew as a person, and especially at the end, which I won't give away in terms of certain things that happen, that really ties back into the beginning of the film, and it was beautifully done in my personal opinion. Number two, this film had a daunting task of introducing us to a ton of new heroes with the Legion of Superheroes. Did they accomplish this? And my answer to my own question, did they accomplish this, is simply kind of. There are certain characters that definitely get a spotlight, including Brainiac 5, Mon-El, and a few others that definitely get more screen time and more development when we actually travel to the 31st century. There's other characters that do have a chance to shine. They have a chance to show off their powers, and it's really cool. There's also other characters that are kind of in the background. They appear for a little bit. They really don't matter to the overall story, and I get it, because if they were to really focus on all of these new characters, or at least a lot of them, this film would have been at least 2 hours long. I understand that. But I do wish we would have gotten more focus on some characters, because I feel like they would definitely be interesting to kind of learn more about, but they have a chance to shine, they have a little moment, and that's cool. But I hope we see them again, because I want to see more of some of these characters. I mean, like, there's some really cool ones. I'm like, why didn't we get to see more of them, and we really don't, and it's unfortunate. But I understand this film is mostly focused on Cara and not so much the Legion as a whole. Certain characters in the Legion, of course, are focused on, but it's mainly her story. Number three, this film had to surprise me. Now, I'm not saying the film had to throw in a bunch of twists or curveballs into the story in order for me to go, this is a good movie. But what I mean by is that I've seen a lot of these DC animated films in this new continuity, and of course the previous continuity and Elseworlds films, that at a certain point, I've seen certain formulas they've used in certain films. Like, this film had to throw me off and go, oh, I wasn't expecting that direction we were going to go in. I wasn't expecting that reveal there. I wasn't expecting that. There was one thing that I did predict, and I was right on, which I wish I didn't predict. I wish they would have handled that a little bit different in terms of leading up to this moment. But the nothing was another reveal I wasn't prepared for. I was not prepared for. Something I want to touch on briefly is Cara and Clark's relationship in the film. Unfortunately, we don't get to see a lot of it, but what we do see, I think, is interesting. I was engaged with it, and you can see, obviously, they're related. Okay, they have that bond. But there's also that disconnect to where they had very different upbringings and a very different life, because, of course, when Krypton exploded, Cara wasn't a baby like Clark. And you get to see that difference there and how she feels that she isn't connecting to Earth, because they explain that she's been on Earth for a few months when this film starts, and she's just not feeling connected to Earth because she was so used to Krypton. And so it was really well done in that aspect, and that kind of what led to going to the 31st century, to the Legion of Superheroes. It was handled really well, and I can't wait to see them interact some more. I do have to talk negatively for a second about this film, because there are a couple of things that I can't mention because of spoilers that I have an issue with in this film. Like I said, there are faults to this film. It's not all amazing 10 out of 10. I really enjoyed the film. I feel like it's one of the better DC animated films I've seen in quite a bit. However, there are a couple things I have an issue with. But there's one thing I can address, because it has been established in Green Lantern Beware My Power, and now here in Legion of Superheroes. We bypass, as we know, the Justice League formation in the Tomorrowverse. We bypassed it. It's just now a thing. And there are a couple of lines in this film, and of course Green Lantern Beware My Power, that address the Justice League stuff, but it isn't to the point where we get a full background understanding of what happened. It just gets bypassed. Now, we get some more tidbits in Legion of Superheroes, but it's not to the point where you really get to see the formation. And I understand, because the old continuity that ended with Justice League Dark Apocalypse War showed the formation of the Justice League. But I wish they would have found a way to show at least the beginnings of the Justice League. Maybe not exactly the formation or the origin, but maybe a film that focused on the Justice League, like right after they formed or whatever, and there's like a big threat or something that took place maybe before the events of this film, and maybe Green Lantern Beware My Power, to kind of establish more of the Justice League. but I'm hoping they address this at a later date, and they may in the upcoming Justice League War World, which is in the Tomorrowverse. So maybe they'll address more of the formation of the Justice League there. I doubt it, but I'm hoping. Continuing a little more into the negativity, I mentioned there was a twist that I predicted, and I was unfortunately right about, because I didn't want to be right, but I was right. The way they handled the moment that seeded in my head, wait a minute, that just happened, I think this is going to happen, and I was right. I wish they would have handled it differently, because they could have easily handled it differently. All I'm going to say is, a character sees something, and it's clear as day what they're seeing. If they would have instead made it to where the character goes, wait, what? And then what occurs, and we don't see what they're looking at, then the twist would have been a surprise. It would have surprised me. I wish they would have handled it better. It just frustrated me, because as soon as I saw this moment, I'm like, yep, that's happening, and I was right. And I really wish I wasn't. It's still a surprise for sure in regards to this changes the narrative, but I wish it just was handled different. Back to the positive. There was another twist I mentioned that surprised me, that I was shocked by, and it's a good damn reveal, and you'll understand when you watch the movie. It's creepy. It's creepy. Like, well, okay, this is, what? It's creepy. So when you see the film and you're going to think back on, I understand what he's saying now, because you'll know what I mean by that. But I think this other twist, which is a bigger reveal than the thing I just mentioned that was more of a negative, I feel like this bigger reveal, the bigger twist that I wasn't prepared for, was definitely great. It was a great reveal. It was a great twist. I'm like, that's interesting. Okay, that's interesting. I mentioned in the intro the great action in this film. I feel like a broken record, because all these films have great action. They know how to handle great action. There's some great moments that are powerful, especially with Supergirl, who's in a lot of these action scenes. That is just, damn, she's strong, and you knew that, but like, they just know how to handle these fight scenes so well. And I'm like, you know what, at this point, I sound like a broken record, but I have to at least address it, because if I don't address it, like, is there no action? Is the action crap? I have to at least address it. So you guys already knew that, but damn, the action's good. Holy crap. A character we focus on majorly in this story besides Cara is Brainiac 5. I was actually quite surprised by how much he was involved in the story, in a good way. I felt like his character was definitely conflicting in regards to when you first meet him. However, you grow to understand that he's on a different level intellectually than everybody else, and he's misunderstood for a couple of different reasons, and they really do a good job of addressing that in the film, because if it was just kind of bypassed or mentioned once, and it was just kind of like, okay, it's a thing, but whatever, they really make sure you understand that Brainiac 5 is viewed differently than anybody else and within the Legion of Superheroes. Like, he's viewed very differently, and they handle it pretty well, and you get to see the growth of his character throughout the film, just like Cara. So it really was handled pretty damn well. This film was a great addition to the new DC Universe continuity, the Tomorrowverse. Had a great time in the film. Overall, enjoyed everything they brought to the table with this film, and I can't wait to see more. And yes, there is an after credits scene, so make sure you watch after the credits. And that's it. I really can't say anything else without diving into spoilers, which I will not do, because it's not fair to you guys. You deserve to see this film for the first time on your own without being spoiled. So go in, have a good time, and hopefully you'll enjoy Legion of Superheroes. That's my review. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm curious to know what you guys are excited for in this film. Let me know in the comments below your excitement for the film, who you're excited to see, all that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out.